My dear brothers and sisters, and my young friends, greetings. My name is Radha Sukhani. I'm a medical doctor by profession. Today we are going to talk about rejuvenating sleep. Now, sleep deprivation and insomnia are the biggest epidemics of modern time. One of the reasons for this epidemic is that modern generation of city dwellers have no idea on the benefits of sleep. The youth, the business world, the corporate world are under the wrong notion that sleep is a waste of time. If you snooze, you lose. But medical research shows just otherwise. That if you don't sleep normally, you're set to lose badly, both with respect to physical health and mental health. So, restful, rejuvenating sleep is that amazing nectar which gives you healthy body and sound mind. So, if you wish to have youth, beauty, brains, and success, you need rejuvenating sleep. So, today we are going to talk about the science of rejuvenating sleep and the natural solutions to reclaim it. Now, almost 85 to 90% of the people who have problem with the sleep cause is underlying aberrations in lifestyle behaviors. That is why natural solutions will work in most of the cases where there is lack of sleep. Now, those of you who are interested in written materials on this subject, they can go to our website, www.foodlifestylebalance.com. This current video which you are watching will also be posted on this website. Now, human survival, for that matter, survival of all the living beings on the planet depends on food, water, and sleep. Without food, we can survive 3 to 4 weeks. Without water, just 3 to 4 days. Without sleep, we can survive. However, the mental and physical energy is drained so much that we lose the desire to live. Now, sleep is a necessity of life. During deep sleep, a unique hormone is created in our brain, and that hormone is called growth hormone or youth hormone. The job of this youth hormone is to rest, repair, and rejuvenate the body organs and every body cell. A growing child requires growth hormone, and that is why a growing child sleeps so deeply. Even the noise of big drums will not wake up a child, simply because they require deep sleep. They require growth hormone, which is created during deep sleep. The nature has deemed sleep such a necessity of life that it has devoted 1/3 of the living hours to sleep. So in a 24-hour day, 16 hours are for work and entertainment, and 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours are for sleep. And we have lost the sight of that fact. Now, sleep is the ultimate performance enhancer. You want to be a supreme student. You want to be a celebrated athlete. You want to be a successful artist, scientist, lawyer, doctor, engineer. You need deep sleep. And the modern generation has lost the sight of that fact. And that is why self-imposed sleep deprivation has become the biggest epidemic of the modern times. Now, sleep deprivation is a silent, slow killer. Several studies in medicine have shown that just missing out on 1 to 2 hours of sleep every day will result in obesity and metabolic syndrome, gain of almost 10 to 15 kilogram weight. Now, metabolic syndrome is a condition in which there is excessive fat in the belly, wide waist circumference, or what we call as pot belly, And when you have pot belly, you have fat in the liver. And once there is fat in the liver, it is the beginning of serious diseases such as type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease. Now, deep sleep hormone melatonin is an anti-cancer substance. And there's a lot of medical research going on to see the anti-cancer effects of melatonin, the deep sleep hormone. Now, we are going to cover in this talk several things such as what are the causes of lack of sleep, what is the science of natural sleep, what is natural sleep cycle in one night, and how does it influence the quality of the sleep, what are the health hazards of lack of sleep, and finally, natural solution to reclaim the rejuvenating sleep. Now, first thing we will go through is causes of the lack of sleep. As I said earlier, that in 85 to 90% of the individuals, lack of sleep occurs because of lifestyle behavior problems. And in only 10 to 15% of the cases, lack of sleep is because of underlying medical disease. And today we are not going to cover that, but I will mention those diseases which cause lack of sleep. Now, with respect to lifestyle behaviors, the three things which cause lack of sleep are number one, sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation means there's no problem getting sleep, but appropriate time is not assigned for sleep. So you can imagine it is self-imposed because of work-life imbalance. So much time is spent on work and entertainment that not enough time is left for sleep. And that is the story of modern life. But do keep in mind that if you have sleep deprivation for a long time, for several days and months, you will end up with the disease of insomnia, which is inability to go to sleep. So insomnia, there's plenty of time. You want to sleep, but the sleep just doesn't come. Your night goes tossing and turning in the bed in the night. And the most common cause of insomnia actually is adjustment insomnia, inability to cope with life's up and downs. And we all know that it begins like that. And the biggest mistake which people make that when they have worries or anxiety because certain bad news came in life, they immediately go for sleep medication. And if you go for sleep medication, you become addicted. And then insomnia becomes a disease. So in insomnia, if you use lifestyle behavior changes, you'll be able to handle insomnia without medications. And we're going to talk about that. The third reason why we have lack of sleep is unbalanced lifestyle. Now, the biggest enemy of sleep is late night eating. And it is a trend in cities, late night eating after 8 o'clock. Do know that when the food goes into the stomach, the blood flow to the stomach goes up. And along with it goes up the temperature of the belly or core temperature. And when the core temperature goes up, deep sleep cannot come. Because for deep sleep, you need core temperature to go down by 1 degree. So in Ayurveda, we call increase in core temperature Jatra Agni. So deep sleep cannot come if you have Jatra Agni. There's another problem with late eating which disturbs sleep. And that is when you sleep late, you're putting the food in the stomach and in the intestines at a time when the gastrointestinal tract or digestive tract slows down. So digestive tract slows down after 10 o'clock. So you are eating your food at 9 or 10 o'clock. What is going to happen? That food is not moving. When the food is not moving, it is going to cause indigestion and acid reflux. And that is an epidemic in city dwellers. And that is an important reason why people have lack of sleep. And the second cause of unbalanced lifestyle, as you know, as I said, work-life imbalance. You're not leaving enough time for sleep, 7 to 8 hours a day. And the third reason in unbalanced lifestyle, which causes lack of sleep, is late morning wake up. The science has clearly shown that your sleep time at the night is connected to wake up time in the morning. If you wake up after 7 o'clock, like 8 or 9 o'clock, you can never go to sleep in the right time, 10 or 11 o'clock, and get deep sleep. And the deep sleep time is 12 to 3 in the night. And to get deep sleep at 12 o'clock, you have to sleep at least an hour before that, at least by 10 or 11 o'clock. Now, I said that in 10 to 15% of cases, lack of sleep is because of some medical problems. And the biggest medical problem of the modern times for lack of sleep is airway obstruction because of obesity. So when there is obesity, there's too much fat in the tongue, around the airway, and in the neck. And that causes obstruction of the airflow through upper airways. And a person cannot get enough air, and because of that, they wake up multiple times in the night. And this problem is called obstructive sleep apnea. Obstructive sleep apnea is treated with a special machine called CPAP machine. But be knowledgeable of one fact, that if you lose only 10 or 15 kilogram of weight, you can get rid of your monster CPAP machine. The other medical causes of lack of sleep are diseases like Parkinsonism, any pain in the body won't let you sleep. If there's indigestion, you cannot sleep. If there's acid reflux, you cannot sleep. So you will require some medical treatment for this kind of sleep, or some medical advice for this kind of lack of sleep. So it's important to know the difference between sleep deprivation and insomnia. Sleep deprivation is primarily a behavior problem. Falling asleep is not an issue. It is the time we are assigning to sleep. In insomnia, on the other hand, there's plenty of time to sleep, but we just cannot fall asleep. So sleep deprivation is easy to fix. Insomnia is difficult to fix. It takes much longer time, much more effort. But drugs is not the way to treat insomnia, because it will only make you addicted to medication and it will never give you good sleep. Now, what is there in sleep deprivation? Sleep deprivation is not giving enough time for sleep. Insomnia is no sleep despite having enough time. Cause of sleep deprivation, work-life imbalance, as we said, not giving enough time for sleep. And cause of insomnia is adjustment issues leading to anxiety, stress. Now, sleep onset time is a good way to differentiate between the two. Normal sleep onset time is 20 to 30 minutes. In sleep deprivation, there's no problem falling asleep. So as soon as you get into the bed, you get sleep right away because you're so sleep deprived. Insomnia, on the other hand, it will take you much longer than 30 minutes, and sometimes several hours are gone, tossing and turning, and you cannot get the sleep. Attitude also matters. In sleep deprivation, typical mentality is sleep is a waste of time. And in insomnia, the biggest problem in attitude is, oh my God, how am I going to pass my night? You are kind of afraid of sleep. You're afraid of your bed. You're afraid of your going into your bedroom to sleep because you feel that your whole night will be spent in the torture of waiting for sleep to happen. Now, there are very few lucky ones who can get away with less sleep. Most of the people who are adults require 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So, sleep requirement is much more when you are younger. A newborn baby sleeps for 16 to 18 hours. By the time you are adult, the sleep requirement is 7 to 8 hours. After the age of 50, the sleep requirement goes down. And after the age of 70, you need only 5 to 6 hours of sleep. There are very few rare ones who can get away with less than 5 hours of sleep. And these are the lucky people who get deep sleep very easily and they wake up refreshed. But those are one in thousands. Most of the people need anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of sleep. And the science has shown that if you assign less than 5 hours to your sleep, then your chances of getting heart problems, stroke, and other things are higher. Now, what is insomnia? As I said, insomnia is inability to get sleep. There's no problem with the time. So when do we call that we have insomnia? Is number one, it is taking too long time to sleep, more than 30 minutes, sometimes even hours. Lack of restful sleep means very light sleep. Little noise, you wake up. It means you have insomnia. Broken sleep, you wake up several times in the night. It means you have insomnia. You wake up very early in the morning, like 2 or 3 in the morning. Insomnia. And waking up tired, even though you were in bed for 7 to 8 hours thinking you were sleeping, you wake up, you're so tired. The whole day goes dozing, yawning, and spending your time drinking teas and coffees to just stay awake. There are several medical drugs which cause insomnia. So if your doctor has started you on some new medication, you realize that I'm not sleeping enough. It means it could be the medication, and you may need to change your prescription. So be aware of the medications which can give you insomnia. And these are some antidepressants, medication which are given for Parkinsonism, some blood pressure and heart rate medications like some beta blockers. Cold medications are notorious for disturbing sleep because they have some decongestants which cause excitation in the brain. Steroid drugs also cause insomnia, and these are drugs are given typically when somebody has bad asthma, bad allergies, or severe rheumatoid arthritis. Appetite lowering drugs which people take for weight loss also cause a lot of excitement in the brain, and that also disturbs the sleep. Now, what is the science of natural sleep? Simply put, natural sleep cycle is run by two drivers, adenosine and melatonin. Adenosine is a chemical driver of the sleep, and melatonin is a hormone. Now, adenosine is secreted in the body when body does physical activity. So as the day goes by, adenosine keeps on collecting, and by 9 or 10 o'clock in the night, there is enough adenosine in the body which gives you tired sleep, or which gives you intense desire to sleep because of tiredness. Now, adenosine sleep is also called homeostatic drive. So even if you have insomnia, you cannot fall asleep. It is because of this adenosine sleep that you get few dozing here and there, little short naps, so that your life goes on. And life goes on because of this homeostatic drive of adenosine sleep. The other driver of the sleep, which is responsible for deep, rejuvenating, restorative sleep, is melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone which is produced in the brain and released in the brain according to 24-hour day and night cycle. That is why it is called circadian drive sleep. Circa means round, drive means, DN means day. So circadian drive means that sleep drive which runs in a 24-hour circle. Now, if I have to give a simple analogy of sleep cycle, then I will give the analogy of a car. So your adenosine sleep, or sleep which comes from physical activity and tiredness, is like the key of the engine of the car, and it starts the engine of sleep. On the other hand, melatonin hormone is the power, the petrol, the electricity which drives that car. So we need both of them. And both of these drivers work in tandem. So if we look at 24-hour sleep and wake cycle, then it runs like it is shown in this clock. The deep sleep in the night comes between 12 and 3 o'clock. It is at this time that hormone melatonin is at the highest peak. After 3 o'clock, the melatonin level in the brain stops dropping. By 5 to 7 a.m., melatonin level is so low that you wake up. When you wake up, there's practically no melatonin in the brain. But by 7 o'clock, when you're exposed to morning light or sunlight, bright light, then the synthesis of the melatonin begins in the brain in a gland called pineal gland. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Now, as the day goes, adenosine starts secreting as the physical activity keeps on adding up. By 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, there is enough adenosine in the blood to initiate the sleep. At the same time, about 9 o'clock, the melatonin, which has been collected in the morning in the pineal gland, starts being secreted in the brain and the sleep cycle starts. So adenosine initiates the sleep and melatonin carries on the sleep. Now, as I said, adenosine is secreted during physical activity. So if you are physically active, very active, then there's a lot of adenosine and you get very good start of your sleep. You sleep very quickly if you have enough adenosine in your body. On the other hand, if your whole day goes laying around, not doing much physical activity, there is not enough adenosine in your bloodstream to initiate the sleep. That is why people who do not do much physical activity during the day cannot start good sleep. Now, there is another reason why people cannot get good start of sleep, and that is if they sleep longer during the daytime. If your daytime nap is greater than 30 minutes, the adenosine level goes down and it cannot build up enough adenosine to give you tired sleep or initiation of the sleep. So it's very important to be physically active during the day and do not sleep or nap more than 30 minutes during the daytime. Now we'll talk about melatonin and circadian drive sleep. Now, melatonin is the key to deep rejuvenating sleep, and it is connected to 24-hour day and night cycle of the sun. In the morning, when the eyes see the morning light or the bright light of the sun, then there is secretion of melatonin in the pineal gland of the brain. Now, it will be interesting to note that melatonin is made from happy hormone serotonin. So pineal gland first makes serotonin and from the serotonin comes melatonin. So you can imagine that the happy hormone and melatonin both are interrelated. That is why if you don't get good sleep, you get depression, and if you have depression, you cannot get good sleep. In the geographic areas of the world where there is not enough sunlight, depression is common, suicide rate is high. Then you will say there are certain geographic areas of the world where there's not enough sunlight, then how do they sleep and wake up? Basically by other activities like eating, moving, walking. So these are other stimulants or other factors which bring us sleep. But there is nothing like melatonin coming from morning bright light. So good sleep and sunlight are interrelated to each other. So this is how your natural circadian drive or melatonin sleep goes. Melatonin synthesis starts with the sunrise in the morning. And ideally, if you want maximum melatonin, you should wake up by 7 o'clock in the morning. If you sleep late, you will never have enough melatonin in the brain to get you on to deep sleep at night. At 9 o'clock in the night, there is secretion of melatonin in the brain, which initiates the sleep and works with adenosine to initiate the sleep process and carry on the sleep process. Imagine that within 2 hours of secretion of melatonin in the brain, your intestinal movements are slower. So if you throw food in there, there is Jataragni, higher core temperature, and you cannot get deep sleep. And for deepest sleep, you need the lowest body temperature. So your sleep cycle of the deep sleep is related to melatonin, and by appropriate behavior and lifestyle, you can fix deep sleep cycle. Now, melatonin, as I said, is responsible for deep rejuvenating sleep, and it is during deep rejuvenating sleep that we have secretion of growth hormone or youth hormone. Now, growth hormone is responsible for growth. That is why children get very deep sleep. At the same time, it ensures that you have good rest, repair, and rejuvenate, and you keep good physical health. So if you want to stay youthful, you want to stay beautiful, you want to stay bright and have a lot of mental power, then you need deep rejuvenating sleep. Now, what is natural sleep cycle in one night and how does it affect the quality of the sleep? We'll talk about that. Now, we all think that we go to sleep in the night and wake up in the morning. It's just one cycle, but that's not true. Nature is very intricate. In one single night of 7 to 8 hours of sleep, we have at least 4 to 6 individual sleep cycles. And each sleep cycle is 90 to 100 minutes. And each sleep cycle has 4 stages. And these 4 stages are stage 1, 2, 3, 4, also called in science N1 sleep, N2 sleep, N3 sleep, and N4 sleep. Now, stage 1 sleep is the stage of light sleep where your brain is trying to sleep and you can wake up very quickly if somebody disturbs you. So waking up is very fast during this stage. Then comes the stage 2 sleep or N2 sleep, which lasts about 45 to 60 minutes. And this is this deeper stage of sleep, but it is not deep enough yet. So during this stage of sleep, the heart rate starts slowing down, your respiration starts slowing down, your body activity starts slowing down. Stage 3 or N3 sleep is the real deep sleep. It lasts only 25 to 30 minutes in one sleep cycle. During this sleep, there is no brain activity at all. It is like deep meditation or what we call samadhi. That is why it is so rejuvenating. And fourth stage of sleep is dream stage of sleep. N4 or dream stage of sleep. During this sleep, the brain is very active. Heart rate is fast. Breathing is fast. Everything is fast except for your muscles, which are paralyzed. Imagine if your muscles are active, what will happen? You start acting out your dreams. So sleepwalkers typically are the ones where there is muscle activity during dream stage of sleep. Now I want to present something more, which we call as electrical activity of the brain during sleep. Now every organ in the body, when it is working, generates electricity, which we can record via instruments. For example, you can record the activity of the heart via electrocardiogram because electric waves are generated from the heart. Similarly, electrical waves are generated from the brain, which can be recorded in an EEG, electroencephalogram. And the record of sleep is called hypnogram. Hypnosis means sleep. Gram means record of sleep. So we'll go through the electrical activity of the brain in 4 stages. In stage 1, which lasts 8 to 10 minutes or N1 sleep, electrical activity of the brain is same as in awake state. During stage 2 or N2 sleep, for 45 to 60 minutes, electrical activity of the brain starts slowing down. And in the stage 3 of rejuvenating sleep, electrical activity is negligible. There's occasional deep waves, which are called delta waves. And it has been seen that when you are in a deep stage of meditation or samadhi, you have the same electrical activity. So your stage 3 sleep or N3 sleep or rejuvenating sleep is similar to samadhi, deep meditation. That is why it is so rejuvenating. In stage 4 sleep, electrical activity of the brain is very fast. Heart rate is fast, breathing is fast. So during dream sleep, brain is very active. Now, you have here hypnogram of one night sleep. Hypnogram, as I told you, is the record of one night sleep. So in 7 hours, if you can see, there were 5 cycles of sleep in this hypnogram. Now, pink color here, which is on your left-sided sleep cycles, is deep sleep, which comes during later stage of the sleep or N3 sleep. And if you see, The yellow color is dream sleep, which is stage 4 sleep, where the brain is more active. So you are catching up a lot of electrical activity at that time. So if you see between 12 and 3, you have the pink color. It means deep sleep is occurring between 12 to 3 o'clock. And after 3 o'clock, the dream sleep amount keeps on growing. So most of the dreams occur in the morning hours. And most of the deep sleep occurs between 12 and 3. So it is very important to note that you have to preserve your sleep between 12 and 3 o'clock. Now, this sleep cycle explains to you why some people have strange, puzzling symptoms when they have insomnia. So one of the puzzle is that the person who says, I have insomnia, I cannot sleep, but their family members and close relatives will say, oh no, you were sleeping, you were snoring, you were deep sleep. I heard you snoring. What happened then? Why does this person say that I did not sleep, despite the fact that they were snoring? Reason is they had stage 1 sleep, they had stage 2 of deep sleep, they had dream sleep, but their deep sleep, rejuvenating sleep, or N3 sleep, or stage 3 sleep was totally left out. That is why when they wake up in the morning, they do not feel rested. They do not feel that they have any energy. Now, there's another strange situation which occurs, and that is called dreaming. Too many dreams. I sleep and all I get is dreams. I never get good sleep. That happens commonly in people who drink alcohol very regularly to fall asleep. So alcohol basically gets you to sleep very fast because it helps adenosine to work better, but does not help your melatonin. So you get onset of sleep very fast with alcohol, but you do not get deep sleep. Same thing happens with sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation is like alcoholic sleep. You get to sleep very fast, but you wake up at 1 or 2 in the morning because your sleep is not deep. You're bypassing deep sleep. So what happens in dream sleep is basically you have light sleep for 10, 20 minutes, and then you immediately go to the stage 4 of dream sleep, and you totally do not have stage 2 and stage 3 sleep. So if you are having too many dreams, you're totally missing out on your stage 2 and stage 3 sleep. And to also remember that you will not get stage 3 sleep until you get stage 2 sleep. So it is important for you to go to bed 10 to 11 o'clock so that you can take the benefit of deep sleep between 12 and 3. Now, health hazards of lack of sleep. That's what we're going to talk next. Now, sleep deprivation of few days, and it is a very common problem. So I wanted to bring it to your attention that sometimes you have some function at home. We are going for a wedding, there's a social activity once in a while. Then you will realize that when you don't sleep properly for 2 to 3 days, next day you wake up very tired. You have daytime sleepiness. You're dozing during the day. If you want to focus on something, you cannot focus because there's impaired memory, there's impaired concentration because of lack of sleep. You're more irritable, you get angry easily, and reduce reaction time. Nobody wants to sit in a car where the driver is sleep deprived because you don't have good reflexes and you're accident prone. Corporate world has created a new term for sleep deprivation, and that is presentism. You are present physically, but you're absent mentally. So you come to the work, but your whole day goes yawning, dozing with cups of coffee. Now, long-term sleep deprivation, as I told you, is a very bad idea because if you have long-term sleep deprivation, you will finally end up with disease insomnia, inability to sleep, which is much harder to treat. And why is it happening so much in modern days? Is simply because we are multitasking. Science has shown very clearly that when you are multitasking, the quality of your work goes down. You are able to accomplish a lot, but individual work doesn't have quality. So if you want to have the best quality work, you want to excel in something, then you need not to multitask, but focus on one task at a time. And that is not possible if you are handling too many issues at the same time. So long-term sleep deprivation is more common in people who are multitasking, who think if you snooze, you lose, and they have work-life imbalance. So if you lose sleep, you know that you will lose your health, physical health, at the same time, you lose your mental peace. There are a lot of problems which can occur with lack of sleep, and we will start from the left side. Number one, weight gain. There are several studies in medical science which have clearly shown, as I told you earlier, that if you even lose sleep 1 to 2 hours a day, then you'll end up gaining 10 to 15 kilogram weight. Your belly will come out, you'll have abdominal obesity, you'll have metabolic syndrome, and you will be at high risk for many food and lifestyle disorders like diabetes, hyperpressure, heart disease, and so forth. Now, sleep and digestive tract, they're very closely interconnected. If your sleep is not good, your digestive tract is not behaving. So people who don't get good sleep have more constipation, more indigestion, more acid reflux, many other problems. Headaches and migraines also more common in people who do not get enough sleep. Sleep and immunity are interconnected. If you do not have good sleep, deep rejuvenating sleep, you do not have good immunity. And you would have noticed that when you do not have good sleep for a few days, you get common cold very quickly because your immunity level is low. If you are a student and you think that if you sleep all night, you would cover more ground, that's exactly not true at all. Because when you do not get deep rejuvenating sleep, you will have difficulty learning because you cannot have enough memory power. At the same time, you cannot focus. If you have lack of sleep, you're more irritable, you're more angry, you have a lot of mood swings. In young people, lack of sleep means infertility. So infertility also related to lack of sleep to some extent. And you know, infertility has become an epidemic in modern city dwellers. Lack of libido also because of lack of sleep. And I have written down poor vision, not because actually there is poor vision, but if you're sleeping, you're seeing things, but you're not registering it. Now, it is very important to catch up your sleep debt, especially when you're sleep deprived. Because if you catch up your sleep debt while you're sleep deprived, you will not get into the disease insomnia. So it is very critical to understand what sleep debt is and how can you overcome the sleep debt, how can you cover your sleep debt. So sleep debt means number of hours of sleep you need and number of hours of good sleep. So that is sleep debt. So what is good sleep then? Good sleep means when you wake up next day, in the entire day, you are not sleepy. You think you have all the energy, physical and mental. It means you're having good sleep. That is why I said there are rare people, one in thousands, who can get away with less than 5 hours of sleep. But vast majority of the people need 6 to 8 hours of sleep to function well the following day. So to know also that no one dies of sleep debt because adenosine tired sleep helps you doze here and there and the life goes on. But catching sleep debt is very important for proper physical health and mental health and also saving yourself from the disease insomnia. So how do you catch up sleep debt? You cannot catch up sleep debt in a day or two. So if you think that are 5 days in a week, you can get away with 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and on the weekend, you will catch up. That is what a lot of young people think, but that is not true. You can catch up sleep debt only at the rate of 1 to 2 hours each day. And you can catch up a sleep debt of up to 20 hours. So it means if you want to catch up sleep debt of 20 hours, it will take you 8 to 10 days. And don't think that if you take a nap during the day, you can catch up your sleep. Because if you take nap longer than 30 minutes during the day, you will not be able to sleep in the night because your adenosine level will be too low. Similarly, if you sleep in the morning, 9 to up to 9, 10 o'clock, and do not see the morning light, you don't have enough melatonin. Even if you cover your eyes with all these blocking goggles and whatever, you are not going to get enough good sleep in the morning after 7 o'clock. That is the way nature designed it. So you pretend to be going to sleep, but you never have good sleep in the morning hours. So even if you go to a party and you come back 2 in the morning, you get up at your usual time by 7 o'clock. Then you will be able to get to sleep on time the following day. Catch up sleep debt. As I said, the best way to catch up sleep debt is go to bed early. So if you went to party in the night, went for a party in the night, you came back late in the night, still get up in the morning early and get to bed next day early to catch up your sleep debt. Benjamin Franklin made a statement in 17th century. Benjamin Franklin, as you know, was the founding father of American Constitution, and his statement became famous worldwide. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. So, if you get up early, only then you will get to bed early. And getting up early is in our Vedic tradition. So, I will say a more profound statement than this statement of early to bed is early to rise. So, early to rise will get you to bed early. And that is why we call early morning Brahmavela. Brahmavela means it is God's hour. God designed it. God designed our body to wake up early in the morning. I'll spend few minutes on time zone travel, or what we call a jet lag sleep disorder. Jet lag because there's lag of time between the place where you started your journey and the place where you ended. If the time zone difference between the place you started and place you ended your journey is more than 6 hours, you get jet lag sleep disorder. And jet lag sleep disorder is because of disruption of melatonin. As I told you, melatonin secretion and its production in the brain is related to 24-hour day and night cycle of the sun. So unless you adjust to the day and night cycle of the sun, you will not get melatonin. And if you not get melatonin, you don't get rejuvenating sleep. And if you do not get rejuvenating sleep, you don't feel you have slept. And you will be surprised to know that when you travel from east to west, it is easy to adjust to jet lag sleep disorder. But if you're traveling from west to east, it takes you longer to adjust to jet lag sleep disorder. Now, how do you adjust to jet lag sleep disorder? You can adjust only 1 to 2 hours a day. And if you want to go 2 hours a day, it means if you have 12-hour time zone and you want to recover it in 5 or 6 days, then you have to immediately adopt the lifestyle or life cycle of the new destination. It means you have to wake up early and you have to sleep on time according to the new time zone because you want melatonin synthesis to begin in the new time zone in the morning with sunrise, and you want to allow the melatonin to do its work after 9 o'clock when it starts coming in the night in your brain. Also, eat at the right time so that you do not have high core temperature to be able to get to deep sleep. So if you adjust to your circadian cycle in the new time zone, then you will recover your jet lag very fast. The other thing to remember is there are some things which interfere with melatonin release in the brain at the night. So I said, when you expose your eyes to the morning light, then you have synthesis of melatonin in the pineal gland. But release of melatonin at night after 9 o'clock is equally important. Do remember that blue light of digital devices will interfere with the release of melatonin in the brain. And that is why we advise that your cell phone devices should have a filter to block off the blue light. But even then, the best thing to do to get deep sleep is not to expose yourself to digital devices for at least 1 to 2 hours. That will allow you to get adjusted to time zone very quickly. Now, some people, despite doing everything, cannot get adjusted to time zone, or they have very important work at the new place. They want their sleep to come back. They want to be able to function normally mentally. For them, sometimes melatonin tablet can help them normalize their melatonin sleep cycle. And for that, you take about 2.5 to 3 milligram of melatonin tablet, which is available even without a prescription. Do not take high dose melatonin. More the merrier. It doesn't apply here, because if you take very high dose of melatonin, like 5 milligram tablet or even more, then your own natural melatonin will be suppressed. And you want to make sure that your natural melatonin takes over. Now, another sleep disorder I want to present is night shift work sleep disorder. We all think that if we slept enough hours, whether during the night or the day, it will work for us. That is not true. If you are working in the night and sleeping during the day, you never get good sleep. And imagine 20% of the global working population is doing night shift work. And people who do night shift work are susceptible to certain diseases. And Japanese government was the first one who first promoted a study on night shift workers. The Japanese study in 1997 showed that people who do night shift work, even if they sleep normal hours during the daytime, they are at a risk of certain diseases such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and cancer. They are more susceptible to metabolic syndrome, more belly fat, and more fat in the liver. Now, cancer rate was found to be higher in people who do night shift work, especially cancers like breast cancer, prostate cancer, and colon cancer. Reason being, they found out subsequently by medical research that melatonin is anti-cancer agent. So how do you handle night shift work? The best way to handle night shift work and keep your employees safe and disease-free is to give them rotating 8-hour shifts. So morning shift, evening shift, and night shift, and rotate them every week. And that will help them maintain normal mental and physical health. Now, what are the natural solutions to reclaim rejuvenating sleep? Now, as I said, almost 90% of the problems related to sleep are because of lifestyle behavior issues. So the principles or natural solutions of sleep, deep sleep are, first of all, normalize your sleep-wake cycle. And we talked about the cycle. We talked about adenosine driver, melatonin driver, how to normalize them. The second principle is have a healthy attitude towards sleep. Sleep is not a waste of time. Sleep is the time when the body rejuvenates itself, the mind rejuvenates itself. And practice good sleep hygiene. Fix your behavior so that you can get better sleep. So to normalize sleep cycle, you let your adenosine driver and melatonin driver to do their work. So how does melatonin driver work well? Get up early in the morning, wake up in the morning where there is maximum melatonin secretion. Expose yourself to morning light or bright sunlight if you have it available. And keep active the entire day so that you have maximum adenosine level. Go to sleep between 9 and 11 o'clock so that adenosine as well as melatonin are working together to get you towards the deep sleep, which begins at about 12 o'clock. So rise in the morning on time, be active during the day, get to sleep on time so that adenosine and melatonin can work in tandem and move you towards the zone of deep sleep between 12 and 3 o'clock in the morning. So rule number 1, have a healthy attitude towards sleep. Consider sleep is a necessity. Students who think that they can read all night and gain ground do not have the right idea. If you want your brain to work like a sponge, have the best memory, have the best focus and concentration, you have to have your deep sleep in the night. Do not compromise it. Stay loyal to your wake-up time. If you wake up late in the morning, you cannot go to bed or go to sleep at the right time in the night. And if you do not sleep at the right time in the night, you cannot get deep rejuvenating sleep. So if you sleep well, you will not need a alarm clock to scream in your ear to wake up in the morning. A good wake up without alarm clock, a normal wake up without alarm clock is a sign that you're getting enough rejuvenating sleep in the night. Make sure that you wind down before sleep. If the thought process is too active in the brain, there's not enough room left for the sleep to come. And as I told you, deep sleep is a stage at which there is no electrical activity, there's no thought process. It is like a samadhi, it's like a meditation. And those people who have problem with sleep, get out of the bed. Do not stay in the bed if you're not getting sleep. Do some activity which is calming. Read a book which is calming. No murder mysteries. No exciting TV shows or social media or cell phones. Go to bed only when sleepy. So calm your mind and then get back to bed only when you're sleepy. Rule number 2, keep your sleep schedule routine as much as possible. That you eat at the right time, you get all your bedtime rituals at the time. Even if you came back from the party late at night, get up in the morning at the right time so that next day you can catch up your sleep. Assign 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Of course, some of it will be going down in winding down, getting ready for sleep. And always wake up early in the morning and see the morning light so that you can have your happy hormone serotonin and your sleep hormone melatonin. Stay active during the day so that you have enough adenosine to initiate, to start the engine of your sleep. Do not nap more than 30 minutes during the day. Otherwise, you will kill your adenosine during the daytime. You want to keep it alive. An important thing is stay active during the day, but no vigorous physical activity after 7 o'clock in the evening. Because when you do vigorous physical activity late in the evening, then there's too much adrenaline or excitatory hormone in the body, and that doesn't allow you to go to sleep. It doesn't work well with adenosine. It's not friends with adenosine. So adrenaline and adenosine are not friends with each other. Now, there are a lot of beverages and a lot of habits which interfere with your sleep, and you know how to use them wisely. Now, the biggest enemies of the sleep are high dose caffeine, chocolate late in the night, tea which is being overcooked like Indian style, kadak chai, smoking cigarette is very excitatory for the brain, and alcohol. Alcohol gets you to sleep fast, but it doesn't get you to deep sleep. So caffeine, I will focus a little bit more on because caffeine is a very common addiction. Know that caffeine takes 6 to 8 hours to get out of the system. So if you have problem with the sleep, stop drinking caffeinated beverages 6 to 8 hours before sleep. So it's a good idea to cut off caffeine by 4 or 5 o'clock so that you can get to sleep on time between 10 and 11 o'clock. Now, caffeine is present in so many beverages. Do know that American style coffee with heavily roasted beans has very high level of caffeine, like Starbucks coffee, 80 to 100 milligram of caffeine. The drinks or beverages which are very high in caffeine are Mountain Dew and Red Bull. So when people in West became very aware that Red Bull is not a good idea for you, then a lot of Red Bull was basically exported to the East. And I see a lot of Red Bull in India. And people think it is very fancy to have Red Bull drink, but they don't realize that Red Bull drink is 80 milligram of caffeine. You have a Red Bull 2 hours before you sleep, don't even dream of getting any sleep. So be careful that sleep gets into a vicious cycle with caffeine. So when you drink caffeine late in the evening after 5 o'clock, you cannot get sleep. And when you cannot get good sleep, you wake up tired. When you wake up tired, you want more caffeine. So you keep on going into this vicious cycle of more and more caffeine. So what do? Stop drinking caffeine by 5 o'clock and then reset your sleeping schedule. Now, as I said, that blue light exposure interferes with release of melatonin in the brain. And when there is no release of melatonin in the brain, or there is interference with the release of melatonin in the brain, then we do not get rejuvenating sleep. So nowadays we do have filters available for our cell phones and for our computers and laptops and so forth, which do not save you from exposure to blue light. But sometimes that is not good enough. If you have a problem with sleep, then you quit using your cell phone at least or your laptop at least 1 to 2 hours before sleep. And if you do not have problem falling asleep, make sure that your digital devices have a filter. Now, the biggest enemy of rejuvenating sleep is too many thoughts. And the biggest cause of insomnia is adjustment insomnia, where a person cannot adjust to ups and downs of the life. Too much thoughts in the brain. And if there are too many thoughts in the brain, then it is impossible to get good sleep, because deep sleep, as I showed you, is totally no thoughts in the brain. Imagine that a brain thinks 80 to 85,000 thoughts per day. That is normal. And when you are worried, you have stress, then that thought process is multiplied several fold. 90% of the thoughts are wasted thoughts, especially when you are worried, when you have social stress. And these thoughts are wasted thoughts because they are about the regrets of the past and anxieties of the future, which really have no meaning in your life. Easier said than done. You have to drop these wasted thoughts, which make up 90% of all our thoughts. It does require a lot of training. And nowadays, the best treatment for insomnia is cognitive behavior therapy. Cognitive behavior therapy is basically teaching you how to live in your present and not have wasted thoughts. So the easiest thing to start out with is do not go to bed with a to-do list. And a lot of us do that. If you want to do a to-do list, finish it 2 hours before your sleep time. But do not carry thoughts on what is going to happen tomorrow while you are preparing for your sleep. So you have to kind of retrain your mind to shut down your thought process. If you are just aware of the fact that if you shut down your thought process, you will get better sleep, that knowledge in itself will help you get sleep and help you get sleep better. So before you go to sleep, the common problem in the current generation is social media. Social media really stimulates the mind so much as a argument, debate, because what we are actually doing on social media is really debating or arguing or writing something in a reflex. And sometimes we go back and regret on it. And sometimes we take those regrets to our sleep. And when you go to your bed with regrets, there's no way you are going to get good sleep. Now, as I said, deep sleep is like meditation, deep meditation, samadhi, yoga. So you do not go and sit for meditation in a place which is noisy, which is brightly lighted, which is not comfortable. So your bedroom has to be dark. It has to be quiet. Has to be at a comfortable temperature, because best sleep occurs when the body temperature is lower. Now, as I said, the biggest enemy of the sleep is eating late. And this is the biggest behavior issue in the city dwellers. If you want to get good sleep, you have to eat before 8 o'clock. You have to keep 3 hours time duration between your meal and sleep. Because as I told you, that when you eat, you create high core temperature or jataragni, and that interferes with deep sleep. You know that digestive tract slows down by 10 p.m. So if you eat late, you will have a lot of digestive problems. That also won't let you get good sleep. So indigestion, acid reflux, or problems of late night eating Insomnia is a problem of late night eating. So, by eating on time before 8 o'clock, you have solved many problems. You have solved your sleep problems, you have solved your indigestion, you have solved your acid reflux problem. So, you are a happy person with a happy stomach. Now, never run for a sleeping pill if you have worries, if you have stress, because sleeping pill can never give you normal sleep. There is no sleep medication in allopathic medicine which has been able to mimic or copy natural sleep. It will only get you addicted, and the sleep you will get will never be restorative sleep. You will always wake up tired in the morning if you are getting sleep from a sleeping pill. So, rule number 10, I'll come back to the nature. You want happy hormone, you want your sleep hormone melatonin, you have to wake up in the morning. You have to wake up in the morning so that you can get along with the nature and have the nature take care of you. So I always like to conclude with our spiritual thought. So for rejuvenating sleep and happy spirit, you rise early in Brahmavela, invoke the sun god, which is gives you light to create melatonin, which gives you deep rejuvenating sleep. Do not get up in the morning to a screaming clock. If you sleep well, you will never need a screaming alarm clock in your life. With that thought, I will take leave. Goodbye. Thank you.